Hi, in this video I'm going to try to explain why most Jews are on the left. Now, let me start by making a distinction between secular Jews and religious Jews. Those who are disproportionately represented as left-wing and liberal are secular so-called Jews. Now, this is a topic that's not mentioned much, but it's all over the place. We could even see that 85% of Jews voted for Barack Obama in the previous election, even though the Republican candidate would have clearly been a greater supporter of the State of Israel. So, why? Why are Jews typically on the left? Why is the secular Jewish community the largest supporter of gay rights, the dismantlement of religion in our society, abortion, the ACLU, and every vile anti-religious cause under the sun? Well, what I have to say in this video is going to be a bit hard for many to comprehend, and I ask you not to get emotional. Anyone who has seen my videos in the past knows that I belong to a movement in Orthodox Judaism that seeks to make more Torah Jews, so please, no comments accusing me of being an anti-Semite. Also, when I make my statements, I'm basically generalizing. Obviously, not all left-wing Jews fall into this category, but the vast majority do. To start off, let me make it clear that there's no such thing as a secular Christian or even a secular Muslim. Why? Well, because as soon as these individuals cease to behave like Christians or Muslims, the faithful remnant are quick to snatch the title from them before any luster is lost. However, we are familiar with the term secular Jew. Interesting, huh? As a matter of fact, you will actually notice that the majority of Jews are secular. It makes you even think that it must have always been so, but that's not true. How so? Well, Judaism itself has within it the process to weed out the irreligious from within itself. So that's why we don't see these things happening in biblical times. Well, first you have to understand one of the biggest misconceptions of all. What are the Jewish people and who is a Jew? When the Creator states, "Ve'atem tiyu lei mamleches kohanim v'goy kadosh," you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, what God was stating was that we would be a nation unlike every other nation. Also, when it states, "Hen am levadat yishkonu v'goyim lo yishashav," that Jews don't consider themselves one of the other nations. Now, to really grasp what the real definition of what it is to be a nation unlike every other nation, we first have to look at nations that existed at the time to know what we're not supposed to be. During the time of the Exodus from Egypt, there was no difference between one's nation and one's religion. Usually the king of the nation also served as its deity. My friend, the first religion to state that blood was completely insignificant was the belief system of the Hebrews, what we call today Judaism. So what does this tell us? Well, just as the verse stated, that we are to be a holy nation. So the nation of Israel is not a nation like the French and the Irish are a nation. Jews are a people and a nation united solely by belief. We cannot use the word nation with its secular connotation to understand who are the people of Israel, because that would ultimately not make us different from the other nations, as the verse states. In other words, Jews are not a people or a nation as we define it today. So Jews and Judaism, for that, is only solely a religion. I'll repeat it. Jews are not a people or a nation. We're solely a religion. The erroneous notion that Jews are a nation just like every other nation was really pushed by three types of people. The first, religious Jews, due to horrendous persecution, began to worry about Jewish survival and thus began counting those who would have previously been cut off as a member of God's appointed. Now, this seems like an easy trap to fall into, but my friends, when God appoints you to a mission, you should not lose focus of that mission, which is perfecting the world, and rather let God worry about your survival. The second group are secular Jews, who use the title for their advantage. For one, the word Jew keeps non-Jews assuming that secular Jews are religious and thus stigmatize all Jews with immoral labels. It also gives them a right to a state which is no less Jewish than Sodom. Also, they use the title as a license to live immorally. Because as you can see with the comments I received from this video, that any criticism of their actions or ideas gets one labeled an anti-Semite, as if one were desecrating the Torah itself. The third group of people are non-Jews, who, for lack of a better word, call this a nation. Actually, the biggest act of finger-pointing of who are Jews first appeared in the New Testament. The shunning by the post-biblical world made us believe that we were nationalistically different. But ultimately, my friends, the secular Jew is a trapped soul. Nowadays, when you place any irremovable religious label on someone from birth, you're basically destining that person to a life of hedonism. Because they either have the choice to adopt the religion they were supposedly born into, or deny all other existing religions. In the old days, when a Jew stopped behaving in a sanctified manner, he or she would either marry out and thus would cease to be Jewish in at least 2 generations. However, with the existence of the secular so-called Jewish state of Israel, you have something that's never occurred before in Jewish history. People claiming to be 4th and 5th generation secular and Jewish. Actually, throughout the exile, assimilation